Hello, welcome to When the Smoke Clears. I am the Recovery Plug. Okay, well, how's it going, everybody? I'm glad that you're tuning in to my podcast today. Thank you very much for that. But you know how I like to get my podcast videos always started with a moment of silence followed by the serenity prayer for the addict who still suffers. So if you would, a moment of silence, please. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Alrighty, well, let's get started. I just wanted to, I guess, talk to you today a little bit about, well, a question somebody asked me, and I'm going to relate on the question that they asked, and I'll let you know what the question is, and then we'll get into a discussion about it, and see what you think. I was talking to someone, and they asked me, how long is it for an addict to get recovered, and when they're recovered, how long does what does recovery look like? Or like, how do you know when you're in recovery, and how long does it take for an addict to get there? And I thought that was a really really good question, and because a lot of people, they don't know, they don't know what it is. Number one, to be an addict. Number one, they don't know if they are an addict, and they don't know what to do if they, you know, figure out that they're addicted to something. And so, I guess my, I guess the first thing that I would have to say to that question is there is no finish line, if you would, to recovery. Recovery isn't something that you can see in the distance and know that if you get there, then you've accomplished this one thing. Okay? There's many different parts of accomplishment in the road to recovery, but the bottom line is that once an addict, always an addict, and you'll never be fully recovered of that. Now, don't be discouraged. It doesn't mean that you can't stop using and live a productive life and be free of the addiction, because that is attainable. But I guess the $1 million answer to that is that when you seek recovery, recovery is a lifestyle. Recovery is a change of behavior. Recovery is something that you're going to have to do on the daily basis for the rest of your life. And it's the same concept as the addiction. You get addicted, and you do whatever you do on the daily basis to stay in the addiction. Now, reverse that into a positive, and that is doing positive things every single day of your life from morning up to sundown to stay recovered. And it may sound like it's a lot of work, and it may sound like that's a lot of stuff to do to stay, to be drug free or whatever the addiction is. To be addictive free, I guess it's a better way of putting it. But when you were in full blown addiction, and me personally, this is my personal opinion because it's my personal experience. When I was in full blown addiction, I did everything I needed to do on the daily basis from sun up to sundown to have drugs, to maintain drugs, and to keep putting drugs into my body. Now, what I do now here today in my recovery is I do exactly the same thing from sun up to sundown. I do positive things, set positive boundaries so that I stay recovered every single day of my life. And it varies, and in each addict and each addiction varies in how that road is, because the road it's a little bit of a roller coaster ride, because it's not something that you just get there and bam, then it's smooth sailing. No, it's never going to be like that. But this is what I do know through experience is the more you do the positive things and the more you set positive boundaries, the easier your life becomes, and the urges and the addiction seems to start fading away a little by little. It never goes away by any means, because all you have to do is use one time, drink one time, do the addictive behavior one time, and you're back in full blown. Okay, so know that, that is why you have to set those healthy and positive boundaries for yourself and do those positive and healthy things on the daily basis from sun up to sundown. Whether it's reading something positive, whether it's going to an AA meeting, whether it's going to a peer support group, whether it's going to a therapist, whether it's hanging out with your recovery community and doing, whatever recovery communities do. They can go bowling, they can go to the movies, they can go dancing, they can go bike riding, running, whatever it is that they do. All recovery communities are different, and they all intertwine and interact in different ways to stay in recovery. And so, doing those types of things gets your mindset where it starts changing how you start thinking. And you know that every action comes from a mental thought. So the more you start thinking positive, the more you start acting positive, and you start reading things positive, doing things positive, well, everything that you do positive in your memory, in your mind, equals and turns into a positive action that you in turn start doing. And the more you do it, the more repetitive this cycle gets, the more that your brain starts molding itself back into a positive, being. And so it is, it can seem like the darkest of days, because I've been there, man. I've been there where it just seemed like, God damn it, man. I don't know how. It just doesn't seem like I'm gonna ever be able to get out of this addiction. I could remember sitting in a motel room or in a tent or bando or just somebody's garage, just getting high and just thinking, man, I'm fixing to run out of dope. What do I got to do now to get more? And that type of lifestyle just was exhausting, stressful, and it makes you start forgetting about the things that matter to you in your life, the things that you should be concerned with, the things that you should be doing, and all of those things start getting set up on the back burner, and next thing you know, they start fading away. And unless there's some sort of intervention within yourself spiritually, or someone intervenes, or something happens to you, maybe you get incarcerated, maybe you are maybe you almost overdosed and now you're in the hospital, or you get a blood infection, or just various types of things, or maybe you almost got killed at some drug deal or whatever. You know what I mean? It's going to take some sort of last straw in a sense for you to say, you know what, okay, I'm done. Because ultimately, no matter how many times somebody tells you, how many times somebody tries to help you, if you yourself personally here aren't ready for the change, then it's not going to happen. Be aware of that, and know that I'm not going to sit here and give you a fairy tale theory of going from addiction to recovery. You know what I mean? I'm not going to do that. I'm sitting here I'm going to tell you exactly how it is. And what exactly is going to happen if if you don't do it. You know what I mean? Because it's not something that somebody's just going to give you. It's not something that one day you're going to wake up and say, okay, fine, finally the recovery ticket came in. You know, no, that's not that. They don't work like that. And because every day that you're out there struggling in the addictive mode is another day that could possibly be your last day. And because ultimately that's what we're doing as people that are addicted to drugs and alcohol and are out there in homeless situations. The probability starts getting higher and higher that you won't come out of it. And I'm just being honest. You know what I mean? I'm not here to discourage anybody, but it's just a reality. It's the truth. And man, it took me 5 years. It took me 5 freaking years to get out of it. And by the grace of God, I mean, I only got out of it because I got thrown in jail. Had I not got thrown in jail, I would have still been out there. And I believe that. And it's a struggle, brother and sisters. It's a struggle, but it's something that can be done. And I'm sitting here doing this video podcast, talking to you guys, and letting you know that it can be done. Why? Because I know, because I've been there, because I've done it, and I've got out of it. And I've been involved in alcohol and drugs for all my life. There's always been substance abuse and alcohol abuse in and around my family since I was a little kid. The very first time I drank alcohol and did marijuana, I was in the first grade. And it just kept going and progressively got worse. And as I got older, I started, indulging in the heavier drugs. And, for me, it was an escape. Nobody knew I was hurting. Nobody knew I had this mental problem. I didn't even know I had the mental problem. I didn't know that the things that happened to me and the things that I was going through were traumatic experiences. And now I was suffering from this neurological brain disease in the form of PTSDs and drug addiction and childhood traumatic experiences. I had no idea about any of that. All I know is that when I used, I didn't feel those feelings. And I didn't want to feel the feelings. But the thing is that the more I used, then the more I numbed myself, and then you gradually don't give a shit about anything else. And it's a whole lot easier not to when you're high, when you're medicating yourself, when you're putting that Band-Aid on. And, so, going back to the question that they asked me, when and how, where is recovery at? And how do you get there? And how long does it take? Well, my friends, that's all depending on the person and the addiction. What kind of addiction you have and what kind of person you are. And if you're ready to give that up. Because I found myself, it was hard for me to give it up. Because doing drugs was something that I enjoyed to do. You know what I mean? I liked it. And that's why I did it. I mean, I also did it to medicate my memories and pain and things that I didn't want to remember. But at the end of the day, I enjoyed getting high. That's the hard part. And for me, in my journey was the hard part because I liked it. You know what I mean? I liked grabbing that bowl. I liked having a freaking bowl. I mean, and filling it up and always, whenever I needed to hit, I would hit it. I liked it, and but it ultimately took over. I found myself doing everything and anything to get that first before anything else. And it consumed my day up. And then having a partner that, and my girlfriend that I had at the time, her being also using a different drug, not the drug I was using, but a different one. So now I'm trying to, help another person maintain their addiction. And so that was even more stress, in a sense, that I had to deal with. And so it was just an ugly part of my life. Not the people, but just the environment. You know what I mean? Because there's a lot of people out there who are struggling like I was, and they're great people. You know what I mean? They're people that are they just are lost. They didn't know that they had that disease like I had, and a lot of them don't know that they can get help, and a lot of them are stuck there. And man, I wish I could have brought everybody with me, but I can't do that. I can only save myself, and then in turn share what has helped me along the way to get here, and hope that it helps somebody else. And that's my service work, is doing these video podcasts to share my message, that maybe somebody out there could hear me and say, hey, you know what, I'm tired too. And if you are, all you got to do is ask. All you got to do is find call your local services in the area, find you an AA meeting, find you an NA meeting, and there's programs and meetings and peer support groups and just a lot of things like that can help you out. And it's not easy asking for the help. I didn't want to ask for the help. Nobody does. But ultimately, when when I landed in jail and when having a few months sober, once I was in there and I got offered a treatment center, and my mind was clear a little bit more, and I took it, and I've been clean ever since. And it's I'm excited to be able to share my message and be able to share my stories, because I've got years and years of stories that have to do with homelessness, drug addiction, and recovery. And it is I share different parts of my journey on these video podcasts, hoping that my journey somehow somebody can relate to that and understand that there's help, and that it's not the end of the road, that today's not your last day. Today's not going to be the day that you go back into addiction. Today could be the day that you come over on this side of recovery and positivity. All you got to do is give it up and say, I need the help. And you have to do the legwork. This is not going to be an easy thing to do. It's not like somebody you can just, somebody's going to, go by there and hand you this, certificate or some shit like that. It's something that you have to literally do. You're going to have to pick up the phone. You're going to have to walk to some building and get to that place where you can get the help. And when you ask for it, I can guarantee you that nobody's going to turn you away. They're going to help you in some way, shape, or form. And if you need the help from me personally, all you got to do is send me a message. Leave me a comment, and I'll reach out. This is a real deal problem that's going on around everybody's communities. This is just not in my city, in my neighborhood. This is every freaking where. And if my video, that's why I do them, because I want to reach as many people as I can to share my story, so that maybe I can save one person. And if I do, well then, hey, my due diligence and service work is being met, because if I can just save one person by the words that are coming out of my mouth, then I'm good with that. But my goal is to save a lot more, that's for sure. And I can only do it with the help of you guys. With you guys, subscribing to my channel, hitting the like button, giving me a thumbs up, sharing some comments, sharing my channel, then those kind of things, will help me promote my channel to get out there into the world and save as many people as we can. And I got a few things coming up, in the near future. I got a few segments, different types of segments that I'm going to do. One of them is going to be a comical type segment, and I'm trying to get together a 5K run for the awareness of drug addiction and homelessness, and I can only do that through the more subscribers that I get and the more people who look at my videos and my podcasts and stuff. So if that's all I ask is, all you got to do is touch that button like that, and that's all it costs. It don't cost you a darn thing except that touch that button, and give me a thumbs up, share my channel, and subscribe to my channel, and you'll be saving and helping an addict somewhere around this country, around the world, and saving somebody who's homeless. And maybe this would be your chance to start on that road of positivity and recovery. And if you're already there, well then maybe this motivates you to do a little bit more of service work and a little bit more of helping your fellow man and neighbor and sibling, family member, whoever is struggling. But yeah, so as far as the question goes, again, how do you get to recovery? When does it happen? When does an addict get recovered? Well, the answer to that is it's an ongoing process. It's not something that you can ever attain. It's just something that you're going to have to do on the daily basis to stay recovered. And the more you do it, the easier it becomes. And, it's a blessing to be sober today. So yeah, if you think today is your day, I encourage you to go to your nearest AA meeting, or NA meeting. Google it, look it up. They're all over the place, and or go to your nearest church. Church groups always have, addiction support groups and stuff like that, and or call your local agencies. And if you're in the San Antonio area, there's a Esperanza group in the west side downtown. There is Club 12 in the north central part of town. There's the Winners Club over in the northwest side of town, and there's the Goliad group over in the southeast side of town. All of these places got good people there. I know people in all of those places. They're really good people. They will show you love. I promise you, they won't turn you away. All you got to do is Google it, look out for that place, and go to a meeting, sit there, talk to somebody, and try and get that help today. But yeah, so I guess that's it for today. Until the next time on When the Smoke Clears, I am the Recovery Plug.